Good morning. It's Friday, February 6th. Here's what we're working on.
I'm Emily Huang reporting live in Hamilton. Councillor Cameron Crutch is expected to put forward a motion for the city to continue providing recycling services for small businesses. We'll have those details coming up.
Funeral arrangements have been announced for Hamilton soldier Sebastian Halmajan.
And the Winter Olympics in Milan Cortina officially begin this afternoon. It's a Friday edition of Morning Live. Good morning. Busy weekend ahead as well.
It is.
Olympics officially beginning today. Super Bowl Sunday on tap. Lots of Super Bowl parties will be had. Is the weather going to participate, Brian?
How do you want your weather? Do you want it really, really, really cold? If you do, we got it for you.
So 25 degrees on the plus side is not an option?
No, unfortunately not.
Okay.
Not unless you have a jet going someplace south. That would be a good idea because the blisteringly cold air is going to move in later on today. Now, today isn't going to be too bad. Today, we should climb to -3. That's not bad for this time of year. Bit of a wind chill. But tonight, the bottom really falls out. Tonight, we dip to -19. Wind chill of -30 overnight tonight. Frostbite is possible. And again tomorrow, it stays really cold. Now, we do have a blowing snow advisory in effect for the Hamilton area right now. We are getting some. It's light snow, but that wind is really going to pick up later on this afternoon. Winds could gust 60 to 70 kilometers an hour, blowing that snow around. We could get 2 to 4 centimeters. It's started throughout the overnight, so the roads are being treated. Yes, the crews are out, but you're going to see snow on the roads this morning and could be slippery conditions, so be really careful. We'll talk about the forecast coming up in a few minutes. By the way, we're sitting at somebody double check, -9 with a wind chill of -16 right now, so it is a cold start. We'll talk about that coming up. Let's have a look at traffic. 403 and Waterdown Road is slow already, and that's because of the weather conditions that we have. As you can see, there goes one of the crews now doing some plowing on the highway there and some treating. Let's go to some MTO traffic cameras. I want to show you the camera here, QEW east of Brant. Now, there's nothing on the QEW, but if you look way up the top of your screen, you can see all kinds of flashing lights in amongst the trees in there. That's actually the ramp from Brant Street to the Fort Erie bound QEW, or Niagara bound QEW westbound, trying to get onto the 403 as well. So we do have a collision on the ramp, and that's a good idea to keep in mind. Those ramps are going to be pretty slippery as you adjust your speed going up or down. So we will look at weather and we'll check the traffic watch coming up. Right now, the news.
Thank you, Brian. We'll start at Hamilton City Hall, where a motion is expected to be brought forward at this morning's General Issues Committee, calling for an extension to the deadline for city-operated recycling pickup for non-eligible businesses. We are joined this morning by Emily Huang. Emily, good morning.
Good morning, Rick. So Ward 2 Councillor Cameron Crutch is expected to put forward a motion later to this morning asking for the city to continue the Blue Box program for non-eligible businesses. Now, in his motion, Councillor Crutch is asking for the city to assume the $2.1 million of estimated cost for the duration until the end of the year. And that $2.1 million would come from the city's tax stabilization reserve, and that the city's staff develop a robust plan to assist these businesses to successfully transition to private blue box collections starting 2027. Now, this tax stabilization reserve is used for things like covering unforeseen expenses, funding pilot programs, and offsetting revenue shortfalls. Its use requires the approval of council. The change, first announced by the provincial government back in 2021, means recycling services would shift from being the responsibility of the city to that of the producer of recycling materials. The move is expected to save the city of Hamilton about $2.3 million annually. And while bigger establishments already hire private services, many small businesses in the area who were covered under the city's Blue Box program will have voiced frustrations. Now, the cities across provinces have begun transitioning starting July 2023. For the city of Hamilton, we were expected to transition by April 2025, so that was was last year, but that was delayed once for that to come to an end at the end of March of this year. And Councillor Crouch is asking for that again to be extended until the end of this year. For now, Simone, I'll send things back to you in the studio.
Thanks, Emily. Toronto area police revealed more details about the major arrests of 7 Toronto officers and 1 retired officer. Police said the initial investigation was spurred by another investigation into the alleged planned murder of a corrections facility officer. Video released by York Regional Police shows suspects in masks at the correctional worker's home, armed with a loaded handgun, and rammed a police cruiser that was in the driveway. Police said Toronto officers provided personal information to the individuals who were involved in that incident, as well as many other shootings, extortions, and robberies.
In some cases, police officers were offered bribes for this information. We have identified a number of serious criminal acts that have occurred following the release of confidential information, almost in real time.
When asked if there is a possibility that corrupt officers could be in other jurisdictions, police said the investigation is ongoing, which includes looking into the relationships of all the arrested officers.
We're learning more about the worker who died on the job at a Hamilton industrial site last month. Barbara Smith, the mother of 29-year-old Justin Smith, tells CHCH News that her son was a devoted father of 2 young boys and a leader at his workplace. Justin worked at Ontario shipyards from the age of 21, working his way up to a supervisor role. Last Monday, following a historic snowstorm, Smith was removing snow around Hamilton's Pier 14 when he fell into the water and died. Barbara says Justin had a strong bond with his sons, 5-year-old Jackson and 3-year-old Jacob.
He was a very hands-on father. He took care of a lot of, them growing up and that. So the shock now of not having him there, he didn't miss a thing.
The Ministry of Labour is investigating the incident and says it can't comment until the probe is complete. A GoFundMe page has been set up to establish a trust for the 2 boys. More than $41,000 has been raised so far.
Funeral arrangements for Hamilton soldier Sebastian Halmajan have been released. His family will receive friends at the Dodsworth and Brown Funeral Home and Castor Chapel on Sunday from 2 p.m. until 4 p.m. and again from 6 p.m. until 8 p.m. The service will be held at the funeral home Chapel on Monday at 11 a.m. His interment will follow at Woodland Cemetery in the Field of Honor. Halmajan was killed while serving with Canadian forces in Latvia last Thursday. Foreign Affairs Minister Anita Anand is officially opening Canada's new consulate in Greenland today. The consulate is located in the capital, Nuuk, where Canadian consular staff have been operating quietly for several weeks. The move comes as U.S. President Donald Trump has raised annexation threats toward Greenland. Trump has called for American control of the territory and only recently backed away from threats to use force to take over the Danish-owned region. Canada's Veterans Watchdog is calling on the federal government to remove a provision from its budget bill that she says simply papers over a decades-old mistake that overcharged veterans in long-term care. Nashika Jardine says the Liberal government is moving to retroactively fix the error through its budget implementation bill, but in the process, they will end up shortchanging the very same veterans who were overcharged. Veterans Affairs Minister Jill McKnight says the changes are meant to clarify how benefits have been calculated and will not affect future benefits. The federal government is ordering core public servants in Ottawa and elsewhere to be in the office at least 4 days a week starting later this year. A Treasury Board message to deputy department heads says executives will have to work on-site 5 days per week starting May 4th. All other employees must be in the office 4 days a week as of July 6th. The Ontario government has already told provincial public service employees to be in the office 5 days a week starting this January.
All right, the Winter Olympics in Milan Cortina will officially begin this afternoon with the opening ceremony, and it'll be one like we've never seen before. Get ready for an unprecedented 4-site dual cauldron opening ceremony with references to Italian icons and culture as the Olympics return to Italy for the first time in 20 years. Starting at 2 p.m. today, the Parade of Nations will be held at the San Siro Stadium in Milan, as well as at Olympic venues in Livigno, Predazzo, and Cortina. This is the most spread out Olympics, summer or winter, in history, with competition venues spread out over 22,000 square kilometers. There will be 2 Olympic cauldrons paying tribute to Leonardo da Vinci's geometric studies. One is in Milan, 4 kilometers from San Siro. The other is 400 kilometers away in Cortina. And as per usual, the people lighting both cauldrons is a closely guarded secret. In the mixed doubles curling competition, Canadians Brett Gallant and Jocelyn Peterman lost 7-5 against the United States this morning. That drops the husband and wife duo from Alberta to 3-1 in the round robin after they beat host Italy 7-2 and Norway 6-3 yesterday. Snowboarder Francis Jobin from Quebec finished 6th in big air qualifying to advance to tomorrow's 12-man final. Also on tap today, figure skating, as well as training for the men's and women's downhill skiing. The Raptors have had a penchant for blowing leads, so would that be the case against the Chicago Bulls? In short, no. Brandon Ingram hit 5 three-pointers and scored a game-high 33 points to lead Toronto to a 123-107 win over Chicago. It was the Raps' 31st victory of the season, and that eclipses last season's win total. Emmanuel quickly scored 24 points as Toronto snapped a 4-game losing streak against the Bulls. At 31-22, Toronto is currently in 5th place in the NBA's Eastern Conference. Now, scoring your first goal in the NHL is a cool moment for every player, but to do it in your first game and on your first shot is special.
Helens at the dot. Penguins out of the corner. Slavioff will flip this one out. This could be trouble. Sneaking in behind with a shot. Scores! And it's Avery Hayes in his NHL debut. Scores his first goal.
The former Hamilton Bulldog scored 2 goals in his first game to lead the Penguins past the Sabres 5-2 in their last game before the Olympic break. Called up from Wilkes-Barre Scranton of the American Hockey League, Hayes beat goalie Alex Lyon on his first shot, then made it 2-1 about 9 minutes later. He has 13 goals and 10 assists in 31 games this season in the AHL. Meantime, Carolina's Seth Jarvis has been added to the Canadian Olympic men's hockey roster in place of the injured Braden Point. LA Rams quarterback Matthew Stafford won the MVP award at the NFL Honor Show, and he thanked a bunch of people, including his 4 daughters who joined him on stage.
You're unbelievable cheerleaders for me. I appreciate it. I am so happy to have you at the games on the sideline with me, and I can't wait for you to cheer me on next year when we're out there kicking ass.
Yes, the 37-year-old veteran confirmed that he will return for an 18th season. Stafford beat out New England quarterback Drake May in the closest race since Peyton Manning and Steve McNair were co-winners back in 2003. Among the other award winners, Cleveland's Myles Garrett won Defensive Player of the Year. Seattle's Jackson Smith-Njigba was named the top player on offense, and New England's Mike Vrabel is the Coach of the Year. Meantime, Drew Brees and Larry Fitzgerald headline the 2026 Pro Football Hall of Fame class, which also includes Luke Kuechly, Adam Vinatieri, and Roger Craig. NHL Alumni Game is coming to Hamilton, and hockey fans are in for a thrilling showdown as the NHL alumni take on local law enforcement officers. The puck drops Sunday, February 15th at 2 p.m. at the Dave Andreychuk Mountain Arena. For your chance to win 4 tickets to the NHL Alumni Game, head to chch.com/contests to enter.
All right, 13 past the hour on this Friday morning, 6th of February. Yes, the snow has moved in already, and it's going to stick around for the day today, blowing and drifting snow. Not a lot, a couple of centimeters, maybe as much as 4, but I'll talk about that in a sec. I want to look at traffic. 403 Waterdown Road is already getting slow, as you can see, and it's just the weather conditions. That's all we have. Volume on Fridays is usually lighter, but that looks fairly slow already. Let's go to an MTO traffic camera where we do have a problem. It's not on the QEW at the moment. You're looking at camera just east of Brant. It's up there, way up there in the distance in the trees on the top of your screen. We've got a collision on the ramp to the QEW trying to get on to go westbound or Niagara bound right there. Otherwise, it's just the snow we're dealing with. You can see how the blowing snow is really going here at the QEW west on the Garden City Skyway. Centennial Parkway is doing fine. We have that problem. Well, it's a little slow coming towards us. Toronto bound lanes, you can see the snow is starting to mount up a little bit on the roads, starting to see some tracks there. We'll flip ahead to Cawthra. Not a lot happening right there. Okay, let's get to our temperature this morning. Now, this morning, we are a fair bit milder than we were yesterday morning. We were about -16 yesterday morning. This morning, we're -9, still a wind chill of -16, but we do have that snow and we do have the blowing snow happening for the day today. We'll use that later. Here's our bus stop forecast for today. So heading to school today, we're going to get some blowing snow. 2 to 4 centimeters is what we're looking at for the day today. But then the wind is really going to pick up, and that's going to cause the blowing snow. We should hit -3 for the day today. Wind chill about -8. We're looking at that snow. This is the satellite radar picture of the past 6 hours. You can see how the darker colors, the darker blues in there are the heavier snowfalls that we're pushing through right now. What we have is a low pressure system to the north. That cold front, which is represented by the blue line, is going to sweep across us later today. That's going to shift the winds, and they're going to get really strong, and they're going to get really cold. Those winds could gust 60 to 70 kilometers an hour, so a lot of blowing and drifting later on today. 2 to 4 centimeters today. Temperature should hit -3, wind chill about -8 for the day. So a little bit milder, but oh, just wait for tonight as that cold front goes through. Look at these temperatures. These are just the temperatures. -18, -19, -20. Then you factor in the winds. We could have winds gusting 60 to 70 kilometers an hour, giving us wind chill values down around -30. And then tomorrow, those wind will stay strong. We'll get some blowing snow. Temperatures cold tomorrow, -12 to -13, 14, even 16. Some sun, but yeah, that wind will start blowing the snow around for the day tomorrow. So out the door this morning, it is cloudy. We do have some light snow and blowing snow. Temperature right now -9, wind chill -16. We'll talk long range coming up. Simone.
Thank you, Brian. Coming up after the break, we're going to say good morning to Emily with a preview of what's to come in Chit Chat. And in business news, the January job numbers will be released this morning. We'll hear what the experts are saying. Stay with us. Let's say good morning to Emily with a preview of what's to come in Chit Chat. What's happening?
Hi, good morning. Alan Richardson, Dennis Quaid face an unimaginable threat in the trailer for Netflix's sci-fi feature War Machine. It frightens me because I feel like this could actually happen in our lifetime.
Oh, no.
Yeah. Disneyland is now offering a spooky new venue for couples looking to tie the knot. Let's tell Annette.
Okay.
And later on this morning, we'll show you some of the participants for this weekend's Puppy Bowl.
Nice.
The
Looking
best.
forward to that.
The best.
Thanks, Emily. In overseas trading this morning, the dollar is up slightly to 73.07 cents U.S. Gold is down $8, and oil is up $1.13 to $64.46 U.S. a barrel. In midday European trading, Frankfurt is up slightly, while London and Paris are both down.
A mixed day for Asian markets, with Tokyo the only one to see gains. The North American markets took a beating yesterday. The TSX shed more than 570 points, while the Dow and NASDAQ also tumbled.
Statistics Canada is set to release jobs figures for January this morning. A Reuters poll of economists expects employers added 7,000 jobs in the first month of 2026, good enough to keep the unemployment rate steady at 6.8%. RBC forecasts a decline of 10,000 jobs in January, giving back some of the strong employment gains seen in the final months of 2025. But the bank's economists are also calling for the unemployment rate to dip 1/10 of a point to 6.7%. Amid expectations, the pool of available workers shrank last month.
Canadian investment in wind, solar, and energy storage is forecast to top $200 billion over the next decade. It's hoped the investment will lead to a significant decline in the emissions intensity of electricity production, according to the Canadian Renewable Energy Association. The Ottawa-based National Industry Association's market outlook calls for an average annual investment of $14 billion to $20 billion across Canada between now and 2035. Researchers say this will help cut greenhouse gas emissions while creating up to 350,000 direct and indirect full-time equivalent jobs.
Cascades is shutting down 3 plants as it exits its honeycomb paperboard and partition packaging business. 2 of the closures are in Quebec and 1 is in Pennsylvania, affecting a total of 114 employees. Cascades CEO Hughes Simon says the move is part of a strategy to focus the company's assets on core markets that is, and improve profitability. The announcement follows a deal reached last month when Cascades agreed to sell a packaging plant to Crown Paper Group for $65.5 million. All right, quick time out. Brian is going to be back with your traffic update and your bone-rattling 7-day weather forecast. This is a recording. Stay with us.
6:24, yes, it is Friday, but it is snowing, and we're starting to see some problems on the roads. This is our camera, QEW, east of Branch Street. There's nothing on the QEW here, but if you look way at the top of your screen in the distance, you can just make out some flashing lights through the trees. We have a collision on the ramp going to the Niagara-bound QEW, trying to get off of Branch Street right there, but that's really the only problem that we have at the moment in the Burlington area. Garden City Skyway, the east camera, that's doing fine. The top of the Burlington Skyway Bridge, you can see the tracks on the highway here as the snow continues to come down. It's getting a little slow through there. Flip ahead to Sheridan, fairly slow on the Niagara-bound lanes. Nothing here on the 403. That's moving okay. Temperature right now, we're sitting at -9, a lot milder than it was yesterday morning at this time. -9, wind chill about -16, -8 Grimsby, Mississauga, -6 for Toronto. Seasonals, once again, we talk about those quite frequently. -2 is where we feel we should be for a high during the day this time of year, and -10 for the overnight low. So we're a little above seasonal for the morning. Sun times and records today. So -6 for the first bell today, -3 for after in school. -6 was where we got yesterday, but today -3 with that snow and blowing snow scenario. So 2 to 4 centimeters quite possible during the day today, but that wind that's really going to pick up later on will blow it around. Look at the temperatures drop. -19 tonight, wind chill of -30. Tomorrow's high is only going to be -13 with a wind chill of -22 during the day. That wind is going to be strong again. -21 overnight Saturday night into Sunday. Then it starts to moderate. -8 for Sunday. -8. Look at that plus side for Wednesday. What? We'll enjoy that. That's your forecast. Simone, Rick.
Thanks, Brian. Cold-stunned iguanas falling from trees during South Florida's recent cold snap ended up as an unexpected menu item, iguana pizza.
A local trapper collected several of the reptiles and turned them into what he calls the Florida Man Pizza. It's made with fresh iguana meat at a North Palm Beach coal-fired pizzeria. State wildlife officials temporarily allowed Floridians to round up the invasive species. Now, eating iguanas is legal in Florida, but serving wild game in restaurants is more complicated. State health rules require approved sources, putting the viral food moment in a legal gray area. So for those brave enough to try it, unfortunately, the restaurant says it was a one-time media-only event, not a menu item to stay.
Would you try this?
Absolutely not. I am not adventurous like that. Although the website, or I guess if you just Google it, it says that it tastes similar to chicken, but also like frog legs. Would you try it?
I'd probably give it a taste.
Yeah?
Yeah, just to see.
Oh, you're adventurous. Would you also eat crickets too?
Yeah, why not?
Yeah,
throw some crickets on there too. Let's make it a party
Rick,
for Super Bowl weekend. Stay with us. More to come after the break here on Morning Live. I know what I'm at.